everyone, my name is Ulfa Noercholiza. I am from the Nutritional Department of the Health Polytechnic of the Ministry of Health Semarang. On this occasion, I want to share information about obesity. So, what will be discussed? Before I start the discussion, let's watch the following video.
Obesity. What does that word make you think of? Excess weight? Unhealthy food choices? Limited physical activity? Healthcare burden? Perhaps, but they're only part of the story. Obesity is a serious problem for world health, and today it affects over 600 million people. But there is a science to obesity that is complex and frequently misunderstood. In simple terms, obesity develops when we consume more calories than we expend. Over time, excess energy gets stored as fat in adipose tissue, causing weight gain. Losing that weight and keeping it off means more than just eating less and moving more. The thing is, our energy balance can be influenced by many different factors, including our physiology, genetics, environment, socio-economic status, and psychology. And then there's the body's homeostatic system, which controls appetite, energy intake, and energy expenditure. It involves several areas of the brain, including the hypothalamus, which processes hormonal and neuronal signals from other brain structures, the gastrointestinal tract, and adipose tissue. Weight loss alters this system, causing the body to increase hunger and lower the metabolic rate. The stomach also releases more of the hormone ghrelin, which serves to heighten feelings of hunger and the desire to eat. At the same time, the gastrointestinal tract, pancreas, and adipose tissue release fewer satiety signals, so the brain doesn't recognize feelings of fullness. Hormonal shifts like these are partly why people who do lose weight often put it back on, despite their best efforts. Understanding these factors is critical in managing obesity, especially when you consider its complications, including type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, dyslipidemia, osteoarthritis, sleep apnea, and certain types of cancer. Equally, obesity and excess weight can negatively impact health-related quality of life and decrease life expectancy by 4 to 10 years. But the good news is, with the right care, sustained weight loss is achievable, and a 5 to 10% reduction can make a meaningful difference to an individual's overall health. People with obesity are motivated. They really do want to lose weight, and they want to maintain that loss to improve their overall health. But patients can't do it alone. They need help. Obesity is a chronic disease that calls for long-term management, and it all starts with a different kind of conversation.
So, do you have any idea yet? Okay, for a more complete explanation, see my explanation. Knowing about obesity frequently occurring in developing countries. What is obesity? Obesity is a condition that occurs when the quantity of fat tissue body compared to the total body weight is greater than normal, or a condition in which there is excessive accumulation of body fat so that it becomes heavy a person's body is far above normal. Obesity can occur because of this. The imbalance between the energy from the incoming food is creating that with the energy used by the body. Classification of body mass index. A person is said to be obese if the body mass calculation results of the number 25 and above. Every year, the number of obese people in Indonesia is always increasing. Ironically, among women, it decreased in the number of suffering in the decades. In 2013, Indonesia reached 17.7%, an increase from 23.90% in 2007. This figure continued to increase until in 2016 it reached 35%. From the result of the 2013 basic health research data, 18.8% of children aged 5 until 12 years were overweight and 10.8% were obese. Risk-Death 2013 also mentioned that prevalence of obesity in children accompanied by comorbidities is closely related to obesity in parents. Classification of obesity. Obesity divided into central obesity and peripheral obesity. Central obesity. Central obesity is obesity which is characterized by a high body mass index. High fat percentage and abdominal circumference is also large. For men, is greater than 94 centimeter and women is greater than 18 centimeter. Fat accumulation is in visceral area. Obesity of the central type is a major risk factor for developing type 2 diabetes mellitus. Peripheral obesity. Peripheral obesity, also known as genetic obesity. The characteristics of obesity are characterized by a high body mass index and fat percentage but normal abdominal circumference, the accumulation of fat in the subcutaneous and peripheral. Okay, next, pathogenesis of obesity. Obesity can occur due to fat cell hypertrophy or fat cell hyperplasia. Addition and enlargement of fat cells occur most rapidly in the first year of life and reaches a peak in adulthood. As an adult, there will be not fat cell hyperplasia but only fat cell hypertrophy. Okay, causes of obesity. 1. Genetic. 2. Age. 3. Gender. 4. Environment. 5. Lifestyle. 6. Physical activity. 7. Health. 8. Passage. And then the last, knowledge. Genetic. Genetic plays a role occurrence of obesity. If father or mother have excess weight, this thing can be passed on their children. Next, age. In developing countries, obesity is common among adolescents. 3. Gender. Obese boys are at risk of developing rates of social maturity 2.4 times compared to girls with obesity. For environment, this environment includes behavior or lifestyle patterns, equally what eaten and how many times a person eats and how the activity. Number 5, lifestyle. A lifestyle that leads to a sedentary lifestyle can be the cause of someone experiencing obesity. Physical activity. Lack of physical activity can cause a slowdown in metabolism in the body. The less you move, the fewer calories you burn, so that more calories accumulate in your body. Health. Some diseases can cause of obesity, including hypothyroidism, Cushing syndromes, Prader-Willi syndrome, and some neurological disorder that can cause someone a lot eat. Okay, next passage. What instead one's mind can influence is eating habits many people to react to their emotional eating. And then the last, knowledge. The higher a person's nutritional knowledge, the more take into account the type and amount of food selected for consumption. People with low nutritional knowledge cause food based on the five senses, not based on nutritional value of food. Meanwhile, in people with high nutritional knowledge use more rational consideration and knowledge of the nutritional value of the food. Okay, impact of obesity. 1. Cardiovascular. 2. Osteoarthritis. 3. Diabetic type 2. And then number 4. Sleep apnea. Okay. Cardiovascular. In a study cited that obesity is closely related to heart disease. Being overweight can increase the risk of metabolic syndrome, which is a group of conditions that occur together such as high blood pressure, low HDL, cholesterol level, high triglyceride level, high blood sugar level. High blood pressure caused by obesity irritates the plaque in the arteries and causes the blood vessels to burst, triggering a heart attack. Obesity increases the risk of atrial fibrillation and arrhythmia are symptoms of an irregular heartbeat or heart rhythm, which can lead to the formation of blood clots and lead to stroke. Heart failure and other heart diseases being overweight put more stress on the heart, especially during the diastole or fibrillation phase. This is what will trigger heart failure. Okay. Osteoarthritis is the most common form of arthritis. Some people can eat degenerative joint disease or wear arthritis. It occurs most frequently in the hands, hips, and knees. Osteoarthritis occurs when the cartilage that links the ends of the bones in joints wears away. Cartilage is a hard, slippery tissue that allows almost pretty movement of joints. In osteoarthritis, the smooth cartilage surface becomes rough. Eventually, when the cartilage wears off completely, and that's left is bone rubbing against bone. Number 3. Diabetic type 2. Insulin resistance is a disorder of glucose absorption in the muscle and increase in glucose production by the liver, which can result in hyperglycemia, but in fasting and postprandial states. Obesity-associated insulin resistance is a complex disorder involving multiple mechanisms. In individuals, obesity can cause insulin resistance through increased production of free fatty acid. Accumulation of free fatty acid in the tissue will induce insulin resistance, especially in the liver and muscle. Insulin deficiency or insulin resistance causes a failure of the phosphorylation of the insulin receptor substance complex, decreased translocation of glucose transport form, and decreased oxidation of glucose so that glucose cannot enter cells and a condition of hyperglycemia result in diabetes mellitus. Insulin resistance and dysfunction of insulin secretion result in type 2 diabetes mellitus. Okay, the last, sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is a serious sleep disorder that is dangerous because it causes a person airway to experience total or partial obstruction, which occur repeatedly during sleep. Sleep apnea doesn't just interfere with night sleeps. Overweight or obese people with sleep apnea are more likely to have metabolic syndrome, hypertension, prediabetes, and cholesterol disorders, especially high triglycerides. Conclusion from this discussion: someone who is obese and has important other health diseases must receive proper treatment. There are several steps or options that must be taken in dealing with obesity problem, such as applying a diet to patient accompanied by exercise, administering drugs or pharmacotherapy, and finally surgery might be needed. The diet that is correct or must be based on consultation with a nutritional so that it can be processed in providing dietary choice, and the body's nutritional needs are also met. Selection of a diet with hot being accompanied by an expect cold actually worsens the patient's conditions. A good diet, of course, must also be balanced with exercise or physical activity in order to get maximum result. Increasing physical activity is an important component of a weight loss program. Tips to overcome obesity. 1. Consumption of vegetables and fruit at least 5 hours every day. 2. Limit excessive sleeps. 3. Increase physical activity for at least 30 minutes every day. 4. Limiting activity such as watching television, playing computer and games. And the last, number 5, limit consumptions of excess sugar, salt, and fat. Reference from this question. Okay, everyone, it's over. Before that, I want to say thank you to those of you who have seen the explanation to the end. Hopefully, what I'm saying can be additional information and knowledge for you. There is a bonus video that I will give. Don't forget to watch it until the finish. See you later.
Behavior is the sum of everything we do, and what we do is influenced by who we are, the people around us, and by our environment. In fact, our behavior consists of all the choices we make throughout the day, and of course our habits too. We know that some of our behavior increases the risk of getting ill, while others help us to stay in good health. And it's those behaviors we want to stimulate, right? Changing our behavior towards a healthier lifestyle might seem hard, but it's definitely something everybody can do. To change our behavior, we need the ability to do so, the right opportunities, and we need to keep being motivated about it. Scientists have come up with a few handy tips to help us facilitate the process of behavior change. Try and see what works best for you. 1. Set goals, making them specific and realistic, like a 20-minute daily walk, rather than just aiming to walk every day. Step by step. 2. Reflect. More veggies or be more active. Reflection will give you a clearer picture of what to change and how to get there. 3. Make it easier. Simple things like bringing your sports bag to work or having smaller portions can make a big difference. 4. Get support. Tell family and friends and let the support roll in. It might even make them start their own behavior change. 5. Get active. Do something you enjoy. Moving should be fun. Woohoo! 6. Plan. Planning your meals and exercises will reduce stress and make the transition to your new lifestyle smoother. 7. Reward yourself. Set a milestone, and when you reach it, allow yourself a treat or a fun activity. 8. Monitor your progress to encourage yourself, either in a diary or on social media. Changing behavior is rewarding in so many ways. Instant satisfaction, liveliness, an improved social life, and you will also be rewarded later on with better health. Don't postpone. Start changing today.